If we could get somebody who the world has started handing them messages about who the world thinks they are, the cruel messages that you're bad, you're the problem, and get them into a space where a little person or a younger person, maybe it's a high schooler to a 7th grader, I don't know, starts to look up to them in like a little brother, older brother sort of situation, or sister, or that starts to change hearts.
Hi, folks. We are back for another wonderful edition, and one of my favorites already. I know we haven't done it, but it's still one of my favorites because I love this. I love this. We're going to be talking about esteemable acts because here's the question.
Say that slower. What?
We're going to be talking about esteemable. That's like 2 E's, folks. 1 E, 1 big E to start, and 2 little E's in the middle. Esteemable acts. And I don't know if everybody's heard of it. For those of you who might be thinking, hey, I want a better way to help my kids learn from their mistakes, because some of the things I'm doing, they don't seem to be learning and they're still making the same mistake. So what do I do? Spoiler alert, esteemable acts. What do you think about that, Miss Ginger?
So the concept of esteemable acts is not new, but it is relatively new into my vocabulary. So I learned about it and thought, yeah, I don't think I've ever heard it called this before. I don't know what I have called it, but the concept I think is pretty good. See, when a kid when they get in trouble, they start to get an idea, particularly if they're in trouble regularly. They start to get the idea that they're not just doing bad, that they are bad, right? Yes. And that they're a bad person, or they're not smart, or that they're whatever they think they are. And that's the message that they're getting from these interactions. And that can be really rough for young people. And when I say young people, I mean, everybody. But particularly for our kids who are still in school. And it's not that they don't care. Again, if we believe that all kids do well when they can, if they can, they want to do. It's a rare situation when you got a kid who is feeling safe and say, do you like being this way? No, they don't. It's awful. There's a million different reasons of why they might be doing this. But again, they're getting that idea that they are a bad person. And what we are learning over and over is that giving more consequences doesn't repair who they think they are. And so then they start saying, I'll just be this person. And they start to live in shame. And the pathways of their brain starts rolling across, and now everything's a threat. And then pretty soon they're labeled as the problem. And it's hard to get into a space of empathy and repair. And so we've got to really get back into the brain science when kids are having those repeated behaviors, and rethink what we are asking them to do in terms of consequences, in terms of learning from their consequences. And so when we start to figure out who they really are, rather than what they think they are, and ask them to start to, how do we clean up this mess that was made? How do we repair the harm that was done when this happened? What we're doing is we're starting to put accountability with that action. So what does that start to look like? It's that identity shift. They start to think about, maybe I'm not a bad person. Maybe I just did a bad thing.
That's big right there.
It's a huge thing.
That's big right there.
I think about times when I mess up and I'm like, I'm just a piece of something. Are you writing that down?
I'm writing that quote down. That was a ginger nugget right there, folks.
I think it's a Brene Brown nugget.
Okay,
I don't think that's a me.
In my world, I heard it from Ginger, so it's now a ginger nugget.
Right. It's the idea of, instead of I'm bad, I made a mistake and I can fix it.
Love that.
I have that empowerment. And so then their belonging to the community starts to be preserved, rather than having to isolate from the community that is continuing to offer me shame. And then when I'm doing these esteemable acts, I'm starting to build skills about how to repair harm, which a lot of adults don't know how to do, and how to move toward conflict when I've messed up. So what are esteemable acts, right? We've been saying the word a lot. So let's say there's a kid who's gotten in trouble and we believe that they are somebody who can repair. They are somebody who can help. They are somebody who is capable of good, but they may not believe it yet. So we're going to ask them to do some things that start to build that in them. So I'm going to I've got a giant list here. I'm going to share this blog post. It's a blog post that was written that I'll put in here. We might ask them, never force them, never coerce them, never make it, but ask them if they wanted to write or verbally share a sincere apology after they've understood the impact of what their actions have done to another person, to another community. They might help repair or restore a damaged classroom space. Hammer, nails, or screws, and maybe some cleaning supplies, and we do with.
Yes, with. It's a big
right,
word.
alongside, so that we can have a conversation and connection with, and remind them that, that these things happen when things go wrong, that somebody has to clean up the mess, and let's do this together. You're not alone. Could they assist a peer with academic tasks? Could they read to younger students? Could they create a how we care for our classroom poster? Again, none of these are assigned to them. These are offered. They might come up with them after they've recognized what harm has been done. They could create kindness notes for classmates. They could prepare supplies for upcoming lessons, help plan a class community building activity, mentor younger students around a skill that they themselves have mastered so they can teach another person. And have you ever seen, say, like a fifth grader teach a first grader something?
Their eyes light up. It feels so good.
Everybody. I remember being a little first grader looking up to like the eighth graders thinking, oh my gosh, are they even married yet with kids? They were so old.
Yeah.
And thinking they were amazing people. And if they ever talked to me, I felt so special.
Yeah.
And so then if we could get somebody who the world has started handing them messages about who the world thinks they are, the cruel messages that you're bad, you're the problem, and get them into a space where a little person or a younger person, maybe it's a high schooler to a seventh grader, I don't know, starts to look up to them in like a little brother, older brother sort of situation, or sister, or that starts to change hearts.
Well, yes, all beautiful. I love all that. I just think that you were talking about, struck at me like some of these kids have shadow messages.
Oh,
they have.
We all do.
I'm bad. I'm not good. I'm not worthy. I'm not loved. All those things.
I'm not capable.
And I love the outline or the picture you're painting of esteemable acts being part of the restorative practice process instead of pushing kids away, aka punishment type of things, or telling them they have to be out of school or standing them on the wall, or whatever it is. We are taking a path that probably is somewhat counterintuitive to many of us. Like, instead of punishing them, what can I do to bring safety and belonging and dignity through esteemable acts where they're still feeling a part of the community, having accountability, restoring the action that might have been unsafe or that they did. And it's through dignity. And I love that. And I love the picture you're painting of doing it through restorative practice. And I also wonder, and get your thoughts real quick, about can we also, in addition to that, for those kids that we can identify early who need a little more of that, changing the neural connections in their brain to give them more positive golden shadow message or messages, internal messages of, I am worthy and I belong and people love me. What if maybe they didn't necessarily do something, that was damaging or harmful to the community, school community or classroom community or whatever, but what if we recognize that super early and got them doing some esteemable acts around the school, around the classroom, and noticing and filling their bucket that way to maybe prevent some behavioral challenges too, kind of a both type of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see this esteemable acts being so valuable in different avenues of school.
Yeah, we can really love on kids and still accidentally hand them shadow messages, we sure can. And the whole idea, though, of esteemable acts is not to make them earn back their worth after they've messed up. It's to remind them of the worth they already had. That's a big thing. I'm going to say that again. It's not to get them to earn back their worth. It's to remind them that they've always had it. Is again, like you said, it's not about punishment. No. It's not about threat, isolation, or shame. You did a thing, and that's not who you are. There's a teacher that I have worked with in the past who was really struggling with a kid, and they described the kiddo as, this kid's a liar. Oh, yeah, I get it. I get
that
it.
Right there is hard to hear sometimes.
I get it. You're frustrated, and the kid lies to you on a regular basis. And it's not a liar. That kid's a kid who lies. Let's seek who they really are, and let's start to bring that out. How do we create the safety so they don't feel that they need to lie? Oh. These are all complex problems, complex challenges that we're facing. And one quick bite isn't going to change the world, but hopefully if you're listening to enough of them, we start to reframe what might be possible in terms of working with kids and adults who are struggling. This is really about helping people see themselves as who they truly are instead of becoming the outcome of their mistakes.
Yeah, that path back to the community.
Yeah.
Love it. Hey, that's powerful stuff. I agree with you. Maybe one quick bite is not going to change everything, but a lot of the quick bites, and maybe try Esteemable Acts. Try it with a kid or two and see what the power of that is. So just give it a try. And I know Ginger will put some examples in the show notes. Check those out. Those could get you started with some kids that might be a little challenging and might need a little more love and might need to see their true internal value. So thanks for joining us for this Esteemable Acts quick bite. We'll catch you soon.